a lot about how to be a queen in your marriage. And today we're taking that a step further and how to be a queen when your marriage is not serving you anymore. And this is so important. And I think it's particularly important for those of you in this community because we're spiritual people. We're, awake and aware. We're trying to be positive and create goodness in our lives. We're trying to learn things like manifesting and what that looks like for us. And you guys, I am just really ready to share some of our blind spots today. It's going to be crucial. So today I want to teach you how a queen navigates a failing marriage. I want to teach you how to step into that beingness as a queen. That's who you really are. It's not about doing, it's just about who you're being, even when your marriage is no longer serving you. And I'm guessing that this is going to look different than what you think it looks like, or maybe different than what you might be doing. So if you want to know how to navigate marriage like a queen, I want you to type me in the comments. Let me know who's here, who's watching. If you want to be that radiant inner queen, no matter the circumstances of your marriage, that radiant inner queen, because that's who you really are. And type me in the comments. Okay, I want to share a personal story. As you guys know, I've been through all the things, and I want to share a little bit of where I'm coming from with this, because this way of being that I am, and that I think many of you are, of really trying to create a positive life and be a go-getter, and all that is a part of who I am. It has been a part of who I am from the very beginning. In fact, in my mind, it's always been like, well, if I can just make it just perfect enough, then I'll know I'm safe. That's my way of doing life. I'm working on it all the time, as a matter of fact. But you guys, probably, this was many years ago, probably eight or so years ago. Our marriage was struggling so much, and we had seen several different therapists, and oh man, I mean, we've done so many different resources and things, and some of them were effective and some were less effective. You could probably relate, but at one point I was so miserable in my marriage. I started seeing this one really older, very wise gentleman therapist at one phase in our journey, and many people had recommended this guy in our community, and he's actually retired now. So he was fully gray haired and stuff. And I was like, I'm going to go talk to this old man about my marriage. I would go there and I would complain and stuff about my husband, because it was the only place that I would really say what was really going on and how yucky it really was. And then he would just sit there and it was like talking to a girlfriend. He would just kind of husband bash with me. He would just be like, yeah, how could he do that? That's ridiculous. And after a few sessions, I shared with him, I'm realizing that I feel worse after seeing you, not better. And you know what he said? He looked me straight in the eye and he said, that's good. I was like, what? And I was kind of thinking about stopping seeing him, because I was like, there's no way this is helpful. And he said, that's good. I think it's good. You should walk out of here feeling uncomfortable. I'm like, what do you mean? And he said, well, here's the thing, Melissa, you're walking around with rosy colored glasses on, but the reality of your marriage is not great. And so if you walk out of here feeling better, then we're just putting a Band-Aid on your circumstances. You should walk out of here feeling more aware of your circumstances. We're taking off the rosy colored glasses. That's what we're doing. And I remember sharing that with my husband. Oh, my husband resented that therapist so bad for many, many years. Not anymore, but man, the term rosy colored glasses, I think, still causes a little bit of discomfort for both of us in our relationship. Because you guys, that's what we do, isn't it? This is why we need to know what it actually looks like to be a queen in your marriage. That's different than what we've been doing, because it's costing us a ton. There's so many blind spots in my marriage that I wasn't willing to look at. We have a sort of pandemic among women. We aren't, I talked about this last week, right? How we're not really willing to see his inner divine in the day-to-day. But the pandemic is that in the bigger picture, we're totally like, oh no, like, I'm sure he's going to change. This isn't who he really is. Somehow things are going to get better. In our spirituality, we're being so positive and uplifting that what we're actually doing is lying. We're totally lying all the time, and especially lying to ourselves. We compromise and we bargain with ourselves, and all along the way we slowly die. And that's how I felt. I felt this tension in myself that I couldn't understand and I couldn't reconcile, but I was trying so hard to make stuff work that I was willing to compromise my whole everything and lie to myself to try to make this work. This is not being in our inner queen. It's not living up to our birthright as a child of God. Instead, we're gaslighting ourselves. We're manipulating our reality so that we can cope. So we can cope with a situation that's not serving us anymore. Lying to ourselves and to others just to try to get by. Making excuses for him, resenting him, stuffing and numbing, and little by little our marriage dies and we slowly die with it. This is like death before death, right? Like, I'm not talking about physical death, obviously. I'm talking about like losing our spark in life, losing our enthusiasm, losing our everything. I used to go see so many therapists because I was depressed. I definitely had stuff I needed to work through. So none of that, like, I don't regret doing any of that, but I was depressed because my inner being was telling me that something was off. I didn't know how to listen. I didn't know how to listen to what that message was for myself and cling to it and let it guide me to my truth. And so here I am years later teaching this to you. Claiming your inner wisdom is the key here to being in your queen in your marriage. So why is this so important? When we connect to our inner queen in ourselves, we tap into our intuition. And what is our intuition? What really does that even mean? Well, it's a combination of our feelings, our senses, our mind, our knowing, that tells us things, that knows stuff beyond what we actually know on this conscious level. And maybe that intuition comes from, it doesn't really matter what you relate with, but I want to give you a picture of how I see this. What is your inner wisdom? Well, it's the voice of God himself speaking through you, or herself. It's the voice of Christ himself or herself speaking through you. It's the voice of the Spirit moving through you. It's also the voice of your own wisdom, the spirit part of yourself that helped co-create your life before you even came and stepped foot on the planet. It's all of that combined. That's what our intuition really is. Can you see how there's so much wisdom there? It's like all the planets and stars and universe and creation itself combined lives inside of you. And here we are sidestepping it all the time. just trying to cope and get by and deal with mediocrity and stuff that we don't really want in our lives. So when we commit to that inner wisdom, you guys, it's doing whatever you must do to get a clear and solid answer about the next step in your relationship or in any aspect of your life. And then when you receive that inspiration, it's clinging to it above all else, not doubting it, clinging to it and trusting that you do know what's best for you. Claiming your inner wisdom allows clarity to flow to you that you never would have expected. You will literally fill yourself up so that you can see your life and everything with clear eyes. No one like outwardly is like, yeah, I'm a liar. I'm totally like a liar. I just love it. Everyone wants to be honest. That's like part of our nature. It's who we are. We want honesty. We want truth. We want to see things as they really are. And this is the way. And being in that inner queen, it's not about rosy colored glasses. It's about seeing with our eyes wide open. Being so full inside of ourselves. This is really the benefit, you guys, of committing to yourself and committing to trusting that inner voice. We fill ourselves up so much. It's like we get to the top of the mountain and we're like looking around and then we can see so clearly like, oh yeah, you know what? This marriage, I think that it's going to work out. I think it's going to work out okay. And here's some of the next little tiny baby steps I can take. I want to work on this because I feel full inside of myself. I don't look to my husband for my happiness or my fullness. I know who I am. And I do want to work on this with him. I want to see him as the king that he is. And there's some pieces we need to work on, yes, but I think we can make this work. Or at the top of our mountain, we're like, you know what? Actually, this relationship isn't serving me. And it's not serving him either. And in that place of fullness, we can take those next steps and move forward in our life. And I think that one of the number one reasons that I hear from women about why I don't commit to myself, why I don't want to really get to know who I really am. And this comes from that tender place. I know it's because we're scared. We're scared if I actually step into my truth and my fullness, I'm afraid that I won't choose him. And then what will that mean for me? I'll be alone. Maybe I'll be alone. And so we do a lot to protect that, don't we? To protect that part of ourselves, but it's not serving. It's not really getting you what you want. Okay. So how do we do this? If you're hanging in here, this has been a deep and challenging message. I know. I want to empathize with you. I want to give you one strategy that will help assist you in clinging to that inner queen, really being that queen in this marriage that you're in. So if you want that, I want you to type, I claim my inner wisdom. Type that into the comments. I claim my inner wisdom. Take this opportunity to actually claim that for yourself. Tune in here and see these comments. Yeah, good. Hi, you guys. Interesting. Okay. I claim my inner wisdom. This is the beginning step for you. Okay, so the little tool I want to offer you today is think of one situation in your life that's been troubling you, or in your marriage that's been troubling you. Just one situation. And then take a moment and ask your inner wisdom what the tiny next step is. Tiny next step. Like, what do I do about this 5 minutes from now? And whatever you need for that, you know, take a moment, sink in, get quiet, access that inner voice. And if you're watching this on replay or whether you're here live now, type into the comments what you got. What answer came to you? I'm all blurry. Why am I all blurry? There. Oh, this is your little tool. Okay. So what comes up for you when you do that? I'm guessing, you know, if there's some confusion or you feel unsure if you can actually cling to that inner voice, then you probably have something that's blocking you. For some reason, some part of your life, your history, you have felt like you had to shut this down in yourself. And so if that's the case, let's hop on to a complimentary breakthrough session to discover what's blocking you from actually acting in your inner queen. This is something that I offer to people who've never had a call with me before. And if this is something that you want, type inner queen in the comments if you want to do this call. And then a member of my team will reach out to you to schedule that. Because you don't have to live in mediocrity. You don't have to live in situations that don't serve you anymore. And the answers that you'll receive from your inner truth are so different than what you would think. Very rarely does your inner truth, you know, jump out with like divorce immediately or, you know, whatever. We're so afraid of just like tapping into the inner voice. But the inner voice is so, so wise. There's a lot of steps between where you are now and that giant boundary of divorce. I can guarantee you that. And when the voice does say, take massive action, you will know. If you're committed to listening, you will know and you will feel it in your bones, in every part of your being. That's how you'll know when it's time to take some of those bigger action steps. Like the time that I asked my husband to move out. I was literally, I knew in every cell of my body that was what I needed to ask him to do. I didn't understand it. I didn't know like what was going on really in his world. I didn't know if I was maybe asking him, just giving him permission to go move in with a girlfriend or something. I didn't know. But I knew I had this connection to myself. And I knew that that's what I needed to do. And so you'll know. And until you know, ask for those next baby steps so that you can stay in integrity with who you really are, even in a failing marriage. Okay. We'll do just a quick manifesting session here where I wanna do an energy activation for you guys. And so go ahead and close your eyes, take a nice deep breath in. And if your energy doesn't want to receive this, you won't. Doing this as a group clearing, even those who will watch the replay, just trusting that whatever energy is supposed to come into my sphere right now, that I'll know and I'll see what I need to see that's going to heal and include everyone that watches this video ever. And I'm seeing just like this black, thick, thick iron wall of this dark. It's really, really dark. It's this darkness that says like, I can't connect to my inner truth, to my inner wisdom. Oh, take a deep breath. Exhale. We're going to blow that away. Because that's how easy it is to clear that. It's just an illusion. We're just going to blow it away with our breath. And just watch that as it disappears and dissipates. And on the other side of that is the sun, bright and shining and clear. And take a deep breath, just planting those rays of light deep inside of you. That blockage now is clear for you, and you can receive that knowing. It comes from yourself, the part of yourself that already knows how this whole thing is going to go. It's already seen the beginning from the end. It's already helped create your life with God before you came here. The part of yourself that's connected to the universe, that sees all the things. Just take a deep breath, breathe that in, and one more time we'll repeat the phrase, I claim my inner wisdom. And restoring everyone's energy back to themselves, sealing up those energies, sealing up my own energy. Thank you guys for showing up with your energy in this session. I want to invite you again, if you're feeling like you need some support around your inner wisdom, type inner queen in the comments and we will have someone from our team reach out to you. All right, loves. Bye-bye.